My name is Mireliz Bermudez, and I'm running to be student body president. I'm currently a sophomore, dualing in early childhood and special education, as well as a double minor, and I'm involved with UVP, ambassadors, and Spanish club. Initially, I didn't want to run. I kind of just wanted to be VP, and that was it. And then as I continued through the school year, I had an opportunity to be a stand-in president while Pauline was out, and it really gave me perception into what being the president actually meant. Being VP is a completely different ballgame than actually being the president. And after we created the foundation that we have created and laid the groundwork for amazing programs, I think it would be amazing to build off of that and continue the works. Being president means being a microphone. Rather than doing whatever you want to, you're used to amplify the students' needs. More than that, you're kind of like the ultimate representative of Messiah. You're what the Board of Trustees looks to have information about what the average student is doing on the campus. Well, I am the current vice president, and that gives me perception into like Senate and what programs a student really wants, and more than that, what the perception of SGA looks like. I think student engagement, especially after post-COVID, there's been a disengagement in every area of campus, but especially in clubs and events. A lot of our platform, which is based on Arise, is how to tackle engagement in means of communication and in means of engaging more students. One thing I constantly hear is, oh, there's nothing happening at Messiah, there's nothing going on, oh, I have to go home on the weekend because there's nothing to do. And the reality, there is something going on. Whether you're involved in the means of communication to receive that is a different problem, and I think that's something that I hope to improve. The roles of president and vice president are to balance one another. While the president is directly in communication with administration, the vice president is in direct communication with the student body. The vice president has the ability to communicate with the students because of Senate, and Senate is primarily made up of our chartered and executive clubs. And so that's maybe 85 people in a room every other Monday. So that's direct communication to people on campus. President, meanwhile, has direct communication to people like Kim Phipps, to Chris Hansen-Kiefer, who is the Vice Provost of Engagement, and more people like that. So if these two people have those connections and they're in constant communication, then there's a well-balanced area that you can tackle different problems on campus. But if you mix those roles up, then you don't have direct communication to those two groups of people. Well, ultimately, you never know how much of an impact your vote is going to have until you vote. So I would say in anything in life, you really don't know how it's going to play out. But if you can be intentional with the way that you are going to know about your candidate, if you have intentions of, let's say, going to debate night to learn more about who your candidates are, I would say that even if you're unsure, take the time to review the campaign's platform, to review what the person's morals are, what their plans are for the campus. And if those things align with what you want to happen on campus, then you should vote for that person. I know it's a cliche to say, but every vote does count at the end of the day. And if you want something to happen on campus, regardless of if it is that person's platform or not, then you should vote for them. Our platform is Arise. And for us, this platform allows us to have measurable ways of completing a goal. Our A stands for accessibility. And so accessibility in means of both to administration and SGA, and a way to voice your concerns. R stands for restoration. Last year, we really focused on reconciliation and how we can reconcile different things on campus. Now we want to restore relations, especially after COVID. And our I stands for innovation. We want to be creative in the way that we're going to solve our problems and steward our things. And our S stands for sustainability. So that means that we want to work heavily with our sustainability initiative, with Brandon Hoover, and as well as with different clubs on campus to be good stewards, both money-wise and environmentally. And E stands for engagement. And that's one that we really want to focus on because we've noticed the disengagement on campus. The thing that I want to bring to this community is a sense of belonging, especially as first years continue to come on campus, and there's been like a break between traditions that have always occurred at Messiah and a culture that has always been there. And I think any university is going through this, a changing in the way that we perceive tradition, in the way that we perceive our community. And if we can reach members across the campus, both first years and not, and let them know that they belong at Messiah, they're there allows to be a retention and a sense of community where I can ask you to support me and you would say yes. And I wouldn't feel embarrassed to ask you for help. There's some students on campus that don't know where to go when they need help because they're scared or nervous. And I think if we can dissipate those nerves and that anxiety to ask for help, and they would know to come to SGA for whatever reason they need, that we would have a real strong sense of community. Ultimately, I believe that Messiah is a place for growth. It's a place to build community. And if you want to be part of a growth period, a process of transition, I believe that you should vote for us. There is a sense of new leadership and a sense of us wanting to bring something new to campus that has not been seen before. Yes, I was in SGA last year, and we've done incredible things, but there were so many obstacles and so many learning curves that we had to go through in order for me to be where I am right now in SGA. But because we went through all those challenges and all those obstacles, I'm able to say that I know exactly how to tackle our problems on campus. And although it may not be a direct yes, and maybe me investigating how to fix something on campus, maybe it's getting in contact with people who know how to rectify those problems, I say that if you want to see Messiah improve and get to a place of stability and improvement and restoration, that you should vote for us.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle Mitchell. I'm currently running for Vice President of the student body. I am a Politics and International Relations major with a concentration in political science. I am a Martin Scholar. I'm also a part of UVP, United Voices of Praise. And then I also take part in multiple multicultural groups on campus. Currently, I actually am sitting on the SGA Executive Cabinet as Vice President of Organizations. I decided to run for my position because I had the experience as Vice President of Organizations, and I got to see the ins and outs of SGA deeper than I think any first year really knows. A lot of my friends and colleagues on campus and peers were like, oh, what does SGA mean? What does that stand for? They didn't even know what it was happening. And then I got the perspective to look into it and actually see how deep the roots for SGA runs and how we get to connect that with administration and even someone like KP or Kim Phipps. And it's just been a wonderful experience in having that. And I also looked forward to ways to continue to connect the student body. So when Mireliz approached me about becoming her vice president, it was immediate yes. In my mind, I felt it was just a part of growth for me as a leader, but also a way to continue to connect the student body with administration. So in the past, I've been able and had the privilege to serve on multiple leadership training and initiative group projects. I've also had the opportunity, again, like being part of the SGA Executive Cabinet now, the VP of Organizations on campus. I then also had an opportunity last semester, since I am a freshman, to be part of the PEP team and connect with students that are prospective and get to engage with them regarding not only Messiah as a student and academically, but also how their spiritual, mental, emotional growth can build and continue to grow. All of that being said, it helped me to learn how to grow in a team setting and start building healthy environments for individuals to not only grow in their leadership, but also as people and seek to continue to grow as individuals who are diverse, that have so many different perspectives and backgrounds, and enjoy the ride as a journey as a leader. I think one area of campus life that I'm really passionate about is building communication. That is at the heart of everything that happens, even in the perspective of becoming vice president of organizations. Students don't know what's happening in clubs, organizations, groups on campus because it's not being communicated, or it's not being communicated to the best of their ability. So I think something that I'm really passionate about going into this election year is really promoting and standing for proper communication and a more fluid and cohesive way to communicate with administration and the student body. I think also at the heart of this, it's being aware of each other and seeking to keep that at the core, and your values at the core will really help us bring communication, individuals, students, administration, professors, faculty together as one. The student body president and vice president are advocates on campus. They are in a very unique and dynamic way. I think we get the access to not only the student body, but also administration that allows us to not only advocate, but also stand as representatives for the student body. There are many concerns and issues that come up and arise, even joys that arise, that we get to stand before not only administration, but the students to celebrate not only the growth, but also the challenges that we may face. I think a part of the president and vice president role is also standing firm on your values and beliefs and core desires to advance and continue to develop intellect and Christ-centeredness on campus. That is a part of one of the biggest things that we're seeking, especially heading into election season. Seeking to keep Christ preeminent is something that we will hold true to, and I think the student body president and vice president get to do that right as students, experiencing and being able to adapt to those traits as leadership is a part of how we grow. Ultimately, I think this election will allow us to continue to grow as a body. Your voice does matter, and if you have never heard that before, if you've never experienced that before, your voice, your vote, even your ideas and thoughts, we would love to hear them. Being able to vote and take part in this election just allows you to have a voice. So we completely and stand on this, that you should be there at debate night, you should be there activating your voting rights, you should be there giving us ways to not only advance on our vision, but also ways that you think we should continue to grow as a body together. All of these outlets and activities and opportunities to speak on what you want or what you desire allow not only for Messiah to be a place that grows in intellect and grows in seeing anew, but also grows in the way that we want to see in the future. This is also keeping in mind that at the heart and core of all of our efforts, we want to keep Christ at the center. We want to make sure that we are growing as individuals and leaders, set and driven by the body and the kingdom of Christ. I would describe our platform as a beautiful way to start building into to grow as a student body and as an institution. ARISE, our platform, stands for A, accessibility, R, restoration, I, innovation, S, sustainability, and E, engagement. These 5 core principles allow us to continue to grow in engagement and communication on campus. Building off of these goals and initiatives, we have decided to look at Messiah in a way that we continue to arise and ascend into a better and constantly growing environment that, again, does not seek to be at a destination, but seeks to continue to grow on a journey. This is not to get to, we've arised, but we continue to arise into an environment that is safe, that is inclusive, that invokes growth and leadership in all that who take place. When I'm in office, I would like to bring to the community leadership that sees the people and seeks to represent them and advocate for them in ways that at the core seeks to stand for what they not only need or desire, but what will allow us to continue to grow and advance as a community. I think something that sometimes gets mixed in between even the opportunity to be a leader and trying to manage as a student is that you also have your own responsibilities, your own desires. So I think I would want to bridge the gap, and especially for first years, that you can be leaders on campus. You can take those steps to continue to grow in not only your leadership, but as a person, and that this is a safe space to do it. This is a safe space to continue to grow and continue to figure out who you are as a person, and even in your major, who you want to become. That's what I want to bring to the campaign. I want the student body to know that both of us, Mireliz and I, not only see the advantages and disadvantages of being part of the student body, but also that we can continue to grow, we can continue to advance, we can continue to see anew, as our logo says, and seek to enjoy community and a safe place for all. No matter what you look like, no matter your demographic, no matter where you're from, no matter if you're on the A list or the B list, whatever it is, that you are valued and you are seen not only by us as leaders, but also by the community at Messiah University. We value you, and we seek to arise with you as we see anew.